All right. All right. Well, hello. My name is Tracy Justice, and I am the host of the Bold Life podcast. Now, today is just an impromptu pop up. And, I figured this was just a great opportunity for me to get back into the swing of things because I do have here either August or September, I will be launching or relaunching my the new podcast. And I figure, this would be just a great opportunity to just kind of get back into the swing of things and shake out the old, higgy jiggies, whatever, and just get back to doing this. So, before I get started, let me share a quote, right? Because then I can kind of talk about what it is, that I want to kind of talk about today. But the quote of the day that I'm going to share is, be bold and courageous. When you look back on your life, you'll regret the things you didn't do more than the ones you did. And this is by H. Jackson Brown Jr. Now, you know what? I probably should have researched the person before I shared that quote, but I love that quote. I don't know who that person is, so I'm just going to say I don't know what that person has done in their history, but that quote is very right on time, right? Because being bold and courageous, because that's what this Bold Life podcast is about. The Bold Move Challenge 23 is just for this year, but just classifying bold moves that I'm making for 23. But the Bold Life is about being bold and courageous. What is being bold and courageous? Well, first, let me take it back. What is the Bold Life about? The Bold Life is about knowing what you want and you're afraid, you're nervous, you're not sure how it's going to work out, but you do it anyways, right? Like you're not sure how it's all going to turn out, but you're doing it anyways. And that's what this Bold Life is about. And I just wanted to be intentional about the community that I'm trying to create with the Bold Life and, and be intentional and when I say shake out the higgy jiggies, right, just trying to be more intentional about how do I want that to look like? And how do I want to be intentional about, creating the Bold Life community? Now, what I've found is that as I am interacting with people, networking, we're all feeling the same thing. We all tend to say the same thing, right? Like, this is what I've been wanting to do. This is what I've been working on. But I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know how to go about it. I don't know how to move forward. I'm not sure what the next step is. And honestly, what I found to be funny for myself is that as I'm engaging in these different circles and meeting different people, I'm realizing that they are feeling the same sort of fear or anxiety that I'm feeling at the same time. Right? And it's funny is because even though, I could be feeling that, people don't think that, right? Like people will meet you. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one where people will meet you and, and I'll have a conversation. I'll say, oh, I'm a little nervous about doing this or a little nervous about doing that. And they're like, what, you come off so confident all the time. And it's like, no. And I guess I wanted to be really intentional about what the Bold Life means because I know what it means so well that sometimes I do skip over key details, not realizing that, I need to make sure that people are with me as I'm going along. And so the Bold Life is not about being rude. It's not about being cocky. It's not about, if you need to be a little, cocky, there's nothing wrong, but it's really not about being abrasive and just, it's just not really being really having that abrasive attitude. It's really about, what, I'm a little nervous. There's these things that I want to do. There's these goals that I have. There's this desire in my heart. And I know I've been called to do these things. I know with every bit of my body, I've been called to do these things. And, and sometimes you'll get confirmation, right? You'll have conversations with people that have no idea who you are. Just a little, by the way type of conversation, a little chit chat, and they will say something that will touch on that very thing that'll resonate with you. And you're just like, oh my God, I know I'm supposed to be doing this thing. But sometimes you're just afraid. You're just afraid to move forward because you feel like people are going to judge you. People are going to talk about you. People are going to say, why are you doing it like that? Why do you look like that? Why did you say it like that? Why? And then before you know it, you've canceled yourself. You won't even go out and do it anymore, right? And so that's what the bold life is about. The bold life is about how do I'm scared. I'm a little nervous. I stutter, but I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to put myself out there anyway. Why? Because if I don't believe in myself, how can I expect anyone else to believe in me, right? Like I have to be the very first person to completely invest in who I am. I have to be the first person to say, I believe in you, girl. I have to be that person and I need to go out there and do it. And I know that I'm not the only one that feels this way, right? Like I know I'm not the only one that feels like, we've got to be the only one, out there, we're afraid to make mistakes. Everybody feels it, but why aren't we doing things, right? Like, why aren't we taking action on the goals and the dreams that we have for ourselves? And that's what this Bold Life community is about. It's about how can I, set these goals for myself, and they can be bold and outrageous. Is there a community that I can go to where I can say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. This is what I'm planning to do. Hey, I'm going to do it next week. Can we all come back together and meet and talk about it? That's what this Bold Life community is about. We don't always have it figured out, but are you willing to make the step? Are you willing to take the actions that you need to take? I'm a person that I believe in faith. I am someone I believe in, I believe that what it is that's meant for me will be for me and nobody else can take it away from me, right? Like I am just a firm believer of that. I believe that God has just put so many blessings in my life and he has called me to do great things on this earth. I truly do believe that. See, but the thing about that is that you can have all the faith and say you believe in doing all those things and you believe that you've been called to do things. But the question is, what are you doing? Like, are you actually going out there and doing those things and making those things happen? Or are you just talking about it? Right. And the reason why I can talk about this so confidently or so passionately is because I am one of those people. Right. Like, there's so many things that, I know that I can do, but I'm not always. And it's funny because it's bold and outrageous and it's all the way out there. But I know that the first step has to be taken for me, right? And I, and I want to be able to share my journey, but not only share my journey, but give space to others who want to talk about their journey as well, so that they can feel confident, feel empowered to move forward. This just means a lot to me because it's just not always easy, right? And it's just funny because with all the amount of resources out there, just the amount of information, right? You can Google find confidence, help me build confidence. But I'll tell you right now, the only way to build confidence, the only way to gain the confidence that you're looking for is to just move forward, right? And part of the Bold Life is that I've incorporated these values, love, clarity, and confidence. Why love, clarity, and confidence? Well, love first and foremost. Why? Because what you'll realize is that what you're looking for in life, the validation that you're looking for truly, I believe, comes from self, right? Like, the love that we're looking for truly comes from self. The grace that we're looking for comes from self. So you have to be able, so when you set out, when you create a goal and you're setting out to move towards that goal, that first value, love, to me is important because there are going to be times where you want to put yourself down. There are going to be times where those voices in your head will come up and say, you are dumb. Like, why are you doing this? You are not good enough. You're not worth this. You are not worthy for this, worthy enough for this. You need that love to come in and give you grace and give you that energy, give you that strength to fight against all that negativity, right? Because here's the thing, when you're trying something new and you haven't done it before, you don't have the voices in your head that will say, oh, you're going to do a great job because you've never done it before, right? So it's like you are causing a shift, but you have to take action to cause that shift. And in order to take action to cause that shift, you got to give yourself love. so that you can navigate those, those up and down seas. Because honestly, when you have a goal, especially like a business goal, a big dream goal, initiative goal, community goal, there are going to be self-doubt. So, how can you work on that, love, right? Like, just being able to pay attention and being intentional about the love that you give yourself, right? The words that you speak to yourself to encourage yourself to move forward, right? The next one is clarity. Clarity being where, this is what I've personally found out, is that you think you know what it is that you want. You might think that you have it all figured out, but you really don't have it figured out until you put yourself out there and you actually interact with other people and you have those necessary conversations and you realize there are some holes in what it is that I'm planning to do. I have some holes. I need to figure this thing out a little bit more. And so with clarity comes by taking action, right? So I am a planner. I believe in planning. I believe that, because it just makes it so much easier, because then it's easier to make decisions when you can plan through everything, right? But sometimes what will happen is that you've planned everything out and you think that there's clarity until you have a conversation with someone else and you realize the clarity is not fully there. And so you have to take action. You have to move forward with, you have to be able to move forward on your goals, even though you might think is as clear as it can possibly be. You got to move forward. And so that's why I say, don't waste too much time overthinking, over planning, because what you'll find out is that the clarity will come once you move yourself out there, once you start moving forward, right? That's where that clarity will come. And then the confidence will come because you're out there, putting yourself out there, you're practicing, right? So you're giving yourself love. Every time you have self-doubt, you're speaking to yourself kindly, you're encouraging yourself, you're empowering yourself, you're surrounding yourself around people who will support you, who will believe you and encourage you, right? And if you're around people that don't encourage you, learning how to separate the treasure from the trash in the feedback that you get from people, right? And then getting clear about what it is that you want to do and how you want to go about it. But you got to put yourself out there, right? You got to just practice putting yourself out there, being kind to yourself, and then sharing what it is that you do, and then allowing the clarity to continue to come through that way, right? But it's all about moving forward. It's all about taking action. You can't sit still, right? The Bible says, without faith without works is dead. So you can have all the faith in the world. You can believe in yourself. That's great. But what are you doing? What are you doing? Are you moving forward? Are you taking the steps that you need to take to really show that you truly believe in your goals the way that you say you do? And I just wanted to take this time to just really be intentional about the community that I am, that I'm creating here. This Bold Life community, it can be for women, it can be for men, it can be for all. There really isn't a criteria. The criteria of being a part of the Bold Life community is that you have a goal and you want to move forward with that goal, and you're just not going to accept fear as an excuse as to why you don't move forward with that goal. Like, you're just done with that. And so the Bold Life is about boldly moving forward, even when you're afraid. You're still moving forward towards your goal. Let's see if there's anything else that I wanted to share, but I just really wanted to be intentional. Just take this time. Like I said, one of the purposes of today's show was for me to step outside, to get back outside of my comfort zone, right? Just to kind of get used to, getting in front of the camera again. And then I really wanted to, really elaborate a little bit more on the Bold Life and the community that I'm creating with this podcast. Some of the things that you can expect, the topics that you can expect to come from this channel will be interviews where I interview other people within, other people that I'm meeting that are on the same journey, whether they're at the beginning part of it or towards the end. But we're on the journey, and who are on the journey and has a goal for themselves. And I completely forgot where I was going to go with that. Well, yeah, one of the I think the second purpose, what I was saying, is that the bold life is also, I just wanted to be intentional about creating this space so that, people know that they're really, the only criteria for, being a part of this bold life community is truly, do you have a goal for yourself? And if you're not going about it, and if fear is one of those things that's holding you back, then this is the channel for you. Okay, that's what I was talking about. I was talking about the different topics that I was going to that I would talk about. So I would have interviews with people who are also that I've met on my journey so far that I feel would provide interesting, empowering stories to share. And then we'll look at how the bold life. Well, maybe I should take it a step back. See, with the bold life, when I say that there are things that you'll want, there's things that you may want in your life. Everybody's going to have their own version of the bold life, right? So we're all not going to, value the same different aspects in life as each other to the same degree, but we all have a version of what that looks like for us. And so being able to identify what that version looks like for yourself. So in these interviews, when I'm interviewing people, guests for the show, we'll be looking at what does the bold life mean to them? And then how has that, influenced the type of work that they're doing now, right? Because I truly do believe that your purpose is always connected to what you're doing. And if you are trying to figure out, what your purpose is, sometimes it helps to look at what is it that you're currently doing, right? Because what you're doing is not a mistake. What you find yourself working in is not a mistake. So how can you make that connection and then really amplify that? To make sense of what your bold life looks like. So we'll interview people with to talk about their bold life, but then we'll also look at what does, let's talk about HR, right? Because, in the HR world, we're talking about the bold life, right? Because we're talking about how do we encourage people to show up as their authentic self and contribute from that authentic space. To the organizational goals, right? We'll look at DEI efforts. We'll talk about community engagement. We'll look at networking, joining nonprofits. That's something that joining committees. I love being a part of committees and helping out, especially just so many different diverse committees. And so just talking to people on those different committees. For me, helping in the community is is part of my bold life. So there's just going to be different topics that we'll talk about here, just different opportunities for you to be connected to different people in the community or different people globally, on what people are doing, how they're leading their bold life, and maybe if they can impart any words of encouragement or wisdom towards your own journey. Let's see, what else will I be talking about? Really, and just encouragement, right? Like, how can we come up with an action plan? How can you move forward with that action plan? And then what's the accountability to that action plan? And then how do we just do it over and over and over and over and over again? So I'm just really excited about what I have coming down, coming up with the new launch of my podcast, and a little bit more and being more intentional about what the Bold Life community is about. So let's see if there's anything else that I wanted to share. That's really about it. I'm just, if what I'm really excited about is just what's the possibilities of what's going to come from this, right? So with that, I will leave you with my quote that I love to say is that the bold life belongs to everyone. However, only a few are bold enough to live it. So my question for you is, are you part of that few? Thank you so much for your time, and stay tuned for more information about the new launching of my show. Thank you so much. Bye.